this is Mark Benioff's third year giving a big gift to the San Francisco schools and time as well. How many students is this affecting?
Well, eventually it will affect over 50,000 because that's the number of kids that we have in the entire public school system. Right now, the middle schools is about a little over 10,000, and the middle schools have been the focus for the last two and this third year, because that's what I asked to be focused on. When we looked at the data over 3 years ago, we already knew we had a challenge with middle grades. The performance of the kids were not as good as the other schools. There was a tremendous drop-off in parental engagement. There was a lot of kids leaving the middle schools, and we sat down and talked with some principals and teachers, and everything was complaints about the environment, about not being support. We looked and studied all of that, and we realized that's where we needed to make a change, and that's where I enticed Mark in our private conversation about what he asked me about what truly my goal was in terms of the things I wanted to do, what was personal to me, occupying this great office as the mayor of San Francisco. I said, if I can do something about education, that itself would inspire me if I got this public education system going the way it should go.
Now, how much progress has been made in terms of getting other tech companies more involved in the San Francisco community?
Tremendous.
Because I know that's been a problem.
It has. It's from the start, it was really because the tech companies are so young and they're all trying to figure out what to do. Once we got rolling with Salesforce Foundation on the middle school, they saw how this blossomed so quickly, how it inspired the school board, the teachers, the principals, who each got a $100,000 innovation fund to do something different and exciting to improve their campuses. When word passed around there, then the other schools started saying, what about us, and what can we do? And this is where the other tech companies said, well, if Salesforce can do that, we can certainly pick up. And so Ron Conway and Alex Turk from SF City, the Citizens Initiative for Technology Innovation, is a combination of over 2,500 technology companies, and everybody, Zynga, Pinterest, LinkedIn, they're all started to step up, and they realized that they had the same feeling, that if they start embracing the schools. And so each of the principals started putting their requests down in writing, and eventually we got them all, elementary, middle, and high schools, to sign up and get a Circle to School program involved in each of their schools.
What about Uber? How helpful has Uber been?
I don't know specifically what Uber has done. I'm actually going to meet with them this week to find out what they would like to do more of in the city that would benefit, since they seem to be doing very well economically. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know specifically what Uber is doing. I haven't kept track of them yet, but I'll find out very soon.
Okay. You know, there's been a lot of, there was a big market sell-off today, and there's a lot of concern about the broader economic environment, concern that many of these tech companies are overvalued. And, you know, I presume if there was a downturn in the tech economy, that would affect San Francisco. How concerned are you about valuations and the impact on the community?
Well, I am always concerned about our business community because I'm trying to create partnerships that never existed before, and obviously we want those partnerships sustained for a long time, just as Salesforce has made a multi-year commitment with us. We would like any company who signs up to look at how multiple years can happen. You know, our city has changed. We have 2-year budgets. We have 5-year financial planning. We have 10-year capital planning, and that's just the city and county of San Francisco. So when we work in partnership with our business community, we also want to let them know, too, that we're looking for the long-term commitments. We're looking for long-term relationships. When I build housing, it's not just what I do 1 year, it's what I do in 5-year segments, because it's such a complex issue. Homelessness is a complex issue. Healthcare is a complex issue. All these issues are facing on multiple years. So when we look at business, I'm looking at multiple years, and quite frankly, you know, technology is like the 3rd highest revenue generator in the city, behind healthcare and behind our hospitality. So I am concerned about the business community, but I'm also concerned too that we never put our eggs in one basket, that technology will effectuate changes in other industries as well, and we want to make sure that people look at the entire city of San Francisco's industries as a whole, not just one. And the same thing for us. Even though I know that game changers are with technology, I also know that technology also infiltrates healthcare, hospitality, the maker manufacturing world. And this is where I value technology, not just the industry of itself. It's what they're doing to effectuate positively all the other industries.
You lived through the last bubble, and you know how devastating that was. Do you think that could happen again here?
Well, I've been asking every financial expert, and I'll ask you after this interview as well, is where do you think if there's any bubbles? But I'm keeping track of where the industries are, and I don't think we have the kind of excessiveness, if you will, of spending that seemed to accompany a lot of the success in the 90s. I think we're seeing more and more that the investors say they want to see a return. They want to see sustainability, just like we're handling our budget. We do 10-year capital planning, as I mentioned, and we want results to be seen. And in our capital planning, for example, we don't ask property owners to fund something unless it's consistent with the retiring of debt, which means we accomplish something with our past general obligation bonds. I think companies are now learning those lessons, and while the valuations may be high, and we've seen some of the companies come down, we also want steady product growth, and I think that those are seen to come about.
What about when it comes to real estate?
Well, real estate is high.
It's expensive.
It is, and I think we have a healthy conversation about not allowing speculators to dictate what happens in real estate, that we want responsible property owners. We want to make sure affordability is still there, and that's why housing has become my number one priority, to build that housing, but also to rehab housing to make sure that we stabilize neighborhoods. I'd be the first one to say I don't want speculators here, and I've worked with the San Francisco Realtors Association. They don't want speculators here either. That's artificial drive up of the market. And I want steady housing. I want also commercial rents to be affordable to small businesses, and we're working hard to make sure that affordability is there reflected in these very high real estate, because that drives up costs for everything. And this is where we have to have some policies to bring that into a little more practicality.
Have you seen that Bravo show, $1 Million Listing?
I saw one segment of it, and I shook my head about some people closing out. But at the same time, we have areas of the city we're building housing in that's going to be affordable to working class families, and this is where our investments are taking very strong hold.
All right. I live in Bernal Heights, and there was an episode called Fights Over Bernal Heights.
Very desirable community.
Luckily, I bought a couple of years ago.
Well, when you look at areas that we're building housing in, Hunters Point, Shipyard, Candlestick, Visitates Valley, even Park Merced, we're getting in there early. We're trying to control the land costs, and you're going to see those rise, but the housing that we're building is going to be very affordable.